call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Spurs are in action tonight. They're 17-16 on the year as they take on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets in Denver. Tip-off set for 8 o'clock. The Spurs will be without Jeremy Sohan for tonight's game. First Servpro First Responder Bowl. Currently, Texas State leads North Texas 23-14 in the fourth quarter. While the Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said today on 105-3, Hayes in the barn on the coaching staff.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, gang? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, and on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Thank you for listening, however you may be listening, whether that is on 94.1 on your FM dial. If you happen to be listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you're watching via our YouTube channel, that's right, all of our shows stream live on YouTube, The Morning Huddle, The Blitz, and Extra Innings with Pleasure. Just go search SA Sports Star on YouTube. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show. Fred Records asking if I have hay in the barn. Jerry Jones was very, very ubiquitous when talking about the future of the coaching staff today and using the term the hay is in the barn, meaning the decision's been made. They know what their thoughts of this coaching staff are. Now, I don't know if a decision's been made as it pertains to an actual decision on whether they will be back or not. We'll find that out. Hopefully Black Monday when that rolls around, or if he makes them wait it out till the 14th. But if you are and have decided to move on, that is a bad move to draw it out those extra days when timing is very important, because the coaching process goes quickly in the hiring cycle. And Mike Vrabel already interviewed today with the New York Jets about their potential vacancy. I know a lot of Cowboy fans would like to see him. Some would like to see Mike McCarthy return. I think we would enjoy Mike McCarthy returning. He has been very forthright in his interviews with us every Friday morning on the Morning Huddle when he joins Rob and AJ. And earlier this morning, McCarthy may have been joining Rob Thompson for the last time as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And they talked about not just the upcoming game against the Washington Commanders, but also his future and how they're going to go about attacking once the game ends. And it's all for you there in the AA Best Bail Bonds audio vault at sasportstar.com. But if you missed it this morning, Mike McCarthy on the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson, potentially for the last time, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds.
He's always brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds on our Buyers Barricade guest line. Head coach of your Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Rob. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Coach. So here we sit, Friday before Sunday. How's life?
Life is good. Just getting ready to, beat the Commanders. That's the focus.
And a young quarterback. Let's talk about the Commanders. What do you think of Jayden Daniels? In the pantheon of quarterbacks you've seen over the last couple of years, and we've seen a lot of good, hot, young quarterbacks. What's unique about him?
I think he's made, an incredible impact for his football team. That's the first thing you look for, in a quarterback, in his first starting season. And the thing I'm most impressed with is just his command of the offense, but the most impressive is his running ability. I mean, and he wants the ball at the end of the game. So I've been so impressed just what he's, the season he's put together.
When you watch a guy kind of grow into the position like that, you talked about his command of the game. Is there certain things that you look for that allow you to give more and more to a quarterback? Is it a check down that's particularly hard that once you see them master that, you think, okay, we've reached a level that I can now allow him to do things? Is there a progress there, or do you just see some guys and go, well, he's born with it, let him go do what he wants to do?
Well, no, I think that's a good example, Rob. You watch these young quarterbacks play in college, and and just if you look at the way these young men are staying in college, and I think it's been very successful for the guys that have stayed and played 3 or 4 years, because they are getting through their progressions. Their situational awareness and production is higher. The 2-minute drills, the third down conversions, fourth down conversions, game on the line, 4th and 13 conversions. Those are all great experiences that you can't emulate in practice. So definitely, when you watch a young man playing college, first thing you want to see him have total command of the offense he's running.
Coach, I heard you in your presser yesterday, and you mentioned something I think is so valuable, that you cannot buy reps, that reps matter so much in this league. And this season, you had a young team. You've had young teams before, and this was a young one. And by design or by default, they got younger, it felt like. How much is of all the playing time do you see kind of jumping into next year? Do you see a lot going to come out of last week? Despite the score, you got reps, and this week, same thing. Do you see this kind of jumping into next year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think experience always pays forward. Whether you're young or old, there's always something to learn. There's always something that'll sharpen your axe, mentally, emotionally, physically, moving forward in this game. It's just like calling games as a play caller. I mean, you're always adding to the bank account of experience, and it's definitely the most important for young players.
And this week matters to these young guys. When you come into a game like this, and you're balancing reps for young guys, and then reps for older dudes that might be needing some film. How do you balance that, or is it just the game plan and the chips kind of fall where they may?
Well, I mean, when you line up each week, you want to play to win. So I mean, we're not treating this like a preseason game by no means. Mm-hmm. So we want to go out and win the game. And the other thing too is these young players that are here that that may get an opportunity Sunday. They've been practicing and they've been pushing to be up each and every week. And it's not we've had a lot of injuries, but we still have come down to the end of the week where we have 48 spots on Sunday, but there's probably 51 guys that have pushed to play. So and it'd be nice to get some of those guys an opportunity. So they've been ready to play them and on the cusp of playing. So it's not like we're going to try out with a guy that's a lot less prepared to go into the game.
Makes a lot of sense. That's Coach Mike McCarthy. He joins us every week, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We first started talking 4 or 5 years ago during COVID. How thinking about where you were then and where you sit today, how's this job changed? Is it different now?
Oh, since COVID?
Yeah, well, since you got here with the Cowboys, just the grand scheme of what they were and where they are today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think 2020 was a different year for everybody. I mean, just with the pandemic alone, dominated the experience of what we all went through, and then really I didn't really feel until probably the middle of 2021 that was part of the real scope of how things worked, here in Dallas, and probably could even go to 2022 was the first real year, it's full year, from start to finish. Mm-hmm. So going out to Oxnard and all those things. So yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely changed. I think there's things that are established. There's things that get easier. You have a higher understanding of how things work. Clearly more today than 3 or 4 years ago. Without a doubt. But this, one thing that's always stayed the same, whether it's in Dallas or the other organizations I've been a part of, the challenges just keep coming and they never stop. And that's why your culture and your foundation of who you are and how you go about it is so critical, because this league is always challenging. and and we're definitely seeing that this year.
In most instances, you don't know when the end is coming till it hits you in the teeth. But this week you see it coming. Do you have a process in place for what next week is going to look like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're always setting schedule. I mean, we'll step in here Monday. We'll start the evaluation process, and then that's it's obviously it's different this year because of the contract situations, but you just prioritize things and keep working. That's all you can do.
And as we get to Sunday, let's talk real quickly back to the Commanders as we head up there. As far as your quarterback goes, are they going to split time? We can see more Lance. Is Rush going to start?
We're gonna hold on to that till Sunday. So make sure you're watching, Rob.
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer. We got to keep the strategy up. As the game goes through, I'm really curious how do you do anything different in this kind of game? Are there plays you've been in your back pocket that due to circumstance or time you haven't had a chance to call, and if given that chance, is an Aubrey 70-yard field goal kind of sitting back there if there's a possibility? Is there anything kind of going through your mind with this kind of game?
I mean, it's about opportunities, and I mean, you always have plays that you don't get off your call sheet. I mean, we have plays that we had on our call sheet from the first game that we didn't get off against Washington. So hopefully we can get some of them off this week or just Sunday. And yeah, I'd be all for Brandon cranking one from 70. I think that'd be awesome.
I think we'd all love to see it. Well, Coach, no matter the outcome, I want to tell you something. We have to keep a professional distance just because of the job I do and the job you do. But in the years we've had a chance to speak, I want to tell you that I have never once felt you were deceitful or dishonest. And I can't say that about most of the guys I've ever dealt with. It's been a pleasure working with you. I hope I get to see you again, Coach. I'm rooting for you. I think you should get this job. You've earned it. This was not your doing, and what you did get this year was good out of a lot of people. And I think as we get further away from this season, as we look into the real debrief, we're going to see what the job you did. And I'd like to congratulate you on that. If the outcome wasn't exactly what you did, I think the input was certainly there. And I want to thank you for being honest and doing everything you have with us and with our station over these last several years.
Well, thank you, Rob. I hope we get to continue this. I want to say happy New Year also to you.
I bid you the best to you and your family. Good luck this weekend. As always, good health. And I look forward to speaking with you again, Coach.
All right, Rob. You take care. Thank you.
Was earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, Mike McCarthy joining on the Buyers Barricades guest line, courtesy of AA Best Bail Bonds. And is it just me or Rob sound like he got a little verklempt there at the end of it? It's going to be very interesting over the next week to see what the future holds for the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, this coaching staff as a whole, because McCarthy's name is coming up in other jobs. I've heard it mentioned with the Bears. I've heard it mentioned with the Saints, and he is history with the Saints. And if Aaron Rodgers is a free agent, bring him down, maybe rebuild a year or two with him and a young quarterback behind him, the same way they did in Green Bay with Jordan Love and the way they did with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers before that. McCarthy is obviously no stranger to that. Be very interesting to see how this plays out. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. Be sure to catch the Cowboys as they take on the Commanders in the final regular season game and what might be Mike McCarthy's last game right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Babe Loffenberg and Brad Sham on the call. It is brought to you by Ewald Kubota. Pre-game's at 11 o'clock. Kickoff is at noon. And think about that for a second. Look, I'm not saying that Mike McCarthy should be fired. I understand moving on from him, but you better have a plan in place to replace him because he has done a good job with this Cowboys team. He has won 3 straight 12-win seasons. He has had this team in position. Has the team faltered? Yes. Is that on McCarthy? Not totally. And Dak Prescott did finish second in the MVP voting last year with Mike McCarthy as his first year as the play caller. Things went downhill this year, but there are a lot of factors and reasons for all of that. You talk about offensive line, lack of a run game, a bunch of factors in what has led to the downfall offensively, and then the new defense that they were getting used to for the first half of the season. We've seen in the second half under Zimmer, it has gotten better. You can make arguments on both sides of this coin on he needs to go and he needs to stay. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. When we come back, another Cowboys coach who used to be at the Star, Wade Phillips. He had a chance to join Jason Minix earlier this afternoon on the Blitz as they talked about what it's like for coaches this time of year, especially if you are on the hot seat and getting ready for the season to end, and what it's like. Plus, the start of the season for the Brahmas. The schedule has been announced. What's it going to look like? And of course, the players that they have coming this season, including a name we all know and a former third-round pick who used to play at Texas A&M and right here in San Antonio at Reagan High School, Kellen Mond, new quarterback of the San Antonio Brahmas. We'll find out all about him and what it's like as the life of a coach here late in the season when you've already been eliminated from playoff contention. That's coming up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. Starting this Monday, the one and only Rich Eisen is coming to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
In lieu of flowers, donate to Dogs That Care.
There's somebody somewhere putting together a website right now. Dog That Cares.
Have you ever escaped the backyard, gone over to the neighbor's place, killed every chicken they had? I have. I'm a dog who cares.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
It is playoff time. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know Underdog is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs. Be like me and 5 million other happy players winning money watching games with their Pick'em game, where you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. You can cook up fire entries for a shot to win real cash prizes all playoff long. You can even take football and basketball and mix them together. Underdog is the only Pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now you can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with my promo code STAR, and deposit now and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code STAR. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR. Sign up today.
The Gomez Law Firm is one of the most trusted names in personal injury law across the state of Texas. We have Jose here with the Gomez Law Firm to share what makes working with your firm different than others in the area.
You know, we pride ourselves as being an open line of communications. We don't have an automated service. You're not going to ever dial our phone number and get some robot on the other line. You're always going to get a person 24/7. Our principal office is here in San Antonio. Mr. Gomez was born and raised here, practicing law here in San Antonio in his community for 50 years. There are not many attorneys that can say that.
Thank you to the Gomez Law Firm for continuing to fight for our community. The Gomez Law Firm is San Antonio.
If you've been injured, if you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in a car wreck, call the Gomez Law Firm.
Visit JoeGomezLaw.com. That's JoeGomezLaw.com for one of the most trusted names in personal injury.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
At Roundtable Pizza, we believe in the craft of making great pizza. Inspired by the honor, valor, and revelry of the Knights of the Round Table, our superior pizza and commitment to quality and authenticity have earned the reputation of pizza royalty for over 60 years. Roundtable Pizza's signature ingredients, like our made-from-scratch dough, 3-cheese blend, and toppings all the way to the edge, create your perfect pizza. Our tradition of quality reigns king. To find your nearest location or to order for pickup or delivery, head to roundtablepizza.com.
See the best of the best, the area's top high school senior players in the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. 118 All-Stars from 68 high schools will compete in the annual Alamo Dome Showdown, Saturday, January 11th, following the National Navy All-American Bowl. One ticket gets you both games, just $15, available at Ticketmaster. The San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. January 11th at 5 p.m. at the Alamo Dome.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our locations and check out the new Kubota L2502 package deal, including a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. We're on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Go ahead, smash that like button for me if you don't mind. Claymore says McCarthy's time is up. It's time for a different voice and philosophy. Without injuries, this isn't even a 10 or 12 win team. It's McCarthy's ceiling. Look, I put a lot of that on roster construction, in my opinion. No running back, having to force Zeke Elliott early to try and justify Jerry bringing him back. No number 2 receiver, exacerbated even worse with the injury to Brandon Cooks. And then you had 2 rookies on the offensive line that struggled to get their footing until quarter of the way through the season. And with Tyler Guyton's, took even a little bit longer than that until Chuma Edoga came back healthy, which was far after the midway point of the season. So, look, there were a lot of issues with this team. And a lot of them on the offensive side of the ball. And a lot of that is due to the roster that Jerry Jones put in place after that loss to Green Bay, in which he did absolutely nothing for a long period of time in free agency. I'll give him his flowers. Eric Kendricks was a great get. He really helped kind of solidify that defense in the middle of the year, but there are reasons. There are also excuses. It is which is which. Gilbert Padilla says that he was surprised Smith got a Pro Bowl nod on the bad offensive line this year. Look, he was the lone shining point of that offensive line this year. And some of that Pro Bowl nods, a lot of that does, look at Laramie Tunsil. I wouldn't say he had a Pro Bowl year, but he's a Pro Bowler because reputation has a lot to do with Pro Bowls. Someone who had a lot of Pro Bowlers on their team back when he coached the Cowboys, Wade Phillips. He joined the Blitz earlier today and talked about a multitude of topics as the schedule for the new UFL season has dropped, and the San Antonio Brahmas will open up the season against the Arlington Renegades. He also talked about being a head coach at this time of year, and I found that highly, highly interesting. He joined Jason Minix a little bit earlier on the Blitz this afternoon.
Traveling a lot, and I know, with your son there with the Minnesota Vikings, you've been up there quite a bit, and you think about this weekend in the NFL, there's one game that really seems to matter, and that's that Sunday night game. What's it like as an NFL coach going into the final week of the regular season?
Yeah, especially when you have a chance to, be in the playoffs. Of course, they're already in, but it's exciting to know where you're going to be in the playoffs and get that process started. So really exciting for them because they have a chance to be the number one seed, and that's a key position.
Well, it is. And I mean, in the story of Minnesota this year with Sam Darnold, that might be the best in the NFL. For coaches that aren't in the playoffs, how difficult is this week? And with so many, and nobody wants to see people get fired, but we all know in the football business it's going to happen. Do you think most of those guys know their fate going into Sunday, or do they truly have to wait until Monday or Tuesday?
I think most of the time, I mean, it's always rumored, or people are out there, newspapers or media or so forth, are saying you're going to get fired, but you don't know until the owner says, and they usually wait till after the season.
They don't normally wait till the end of the season, and then it's just being a pro, right? You got one more game, go out and do everything you can to try to win it.
Yeah, same thing with the players. You say you're not playing for anything, but you're playing, for the next season to see what kind of player you are and see if you can improve even that last game.
Wade Phillips, head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas, with us here on The Blitz. The UFL schedule gets released yesterday. How much advance notice did you see on this schedule, and your first reaction when you saw it starting with 4 road games?
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. but that's that's the way the schedule came out. So we'll deal with it.
And I think a big part of that, and for fans that are listening, with the Final Four in San Antonio, the Dome's going to be busy. So those first 2 weeks, the Alamo Dome is taken up with, the Final Four. It's a busy place. And I think for most leagues, teams, you see, man, you've got to start with 4 road games. That's brutal. But the way the UFL works with the hub city, the fact that you guys will practice in Arlington, does it matter? I mean, you're still getting on a plane to go for a game, whether it's at home or on the road.
Yeah, and we're both on the same plane, as a matter of fact. So, which makes it really interesting. But yeah, both teams are flying to wherever or busing to wherever. So you're sort of on the road until you get there, and then of course the fans still make a difference. So we want our fans to really show up this year in the Alamo Dome when we play at home.
Well, and again, so the first home game, while the season starts March 29th, first home game is on a Sunday, April 27th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you've got 2 Friday home games, May 9th and May 16th, and then another Sunday, 11 a.m. On June 1 for the 4 home games that you guys get this year inside the Alamo Dome. As a coach, when you look at the schedule, do you start dissecting and thinking about practices, or is it just, all right, that's what it is, let's go?
No, that's what it is. I mean, whatever it is, we've got to adjust to. The good thing is we have some of the guys we had last year, they're familiar with our coaching style and what we're playing offensively and defensively, and the schedule itself, flying on the same plane or busing to San Antonio.
Well, and the idea, the only real quirk that I saw that I was like, man, that's brutal. You play Sunday, May 4th in Birmingham, and then Friday, May 9th in San Antonio. So you go from a Sunday to a Friday. You talk about a short week. That's almost like when you were coaching the Cowboys, playing on Sunday and then Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, Thursday games, they play a lot of them in the NFL nowadays. So, it's a shorter week, but, you got to get both teams have to get ready for a shorter week.
Yeah, perfect. Wade Phillips joining us here.
They're not practicing in Birmingham all week, They're practicing in like you said, in Arlington, just like we are.
Yeah, and like you said, same plane. So how does that work on the plane? Knucklehead question, just throwing it out of left field. When you guys are on the same plane, and but how do you decide who's kind of in the front of the plane, or is it one team on the left side and one team on the right? Do you cut it at the wing? I mean, how do you divvy up who sits where on that plane?
Yeah, we're always in the back of the plane. We're always in the back of the bus, so we know that going in, because it's a home team for the home team gets the front part of the plane.
Okay, so all right, so then the road team in the back, and then what do you put
Right.
the coaches in the middle just to make sure there's no fighting?
You know, I do have to talk to our players, especially after a game when we beat that team. You know, I don't want anything said after the game that, you know, it can cause any kind of problem. So I do talk to my team after we play on the road and on the flight to make sure that, you know, nothing comes up. I don't want anything said after the game that we won the game. Let's just enjoy it ourselves.
Well, absolutely, because I could see where, knowing, being on planes, seeing some of that, I could see where you would have to have an enforcer, if you will, just to make sure everything is smooth. I mean, there was a story this year about teammates. I think it was the Auburn basketball team. They had to turn the plane around because some teammates got into a fight.
Right. Yeah.
It
Well,
happens.
after beating the other team and then being there with them can be a problem, but we haven't had one.
Yeah. All right. So looking at your roster right now, and I know you guys have been busy while, you know, like we're all waiting for the season. You guys are working on this basically year round. How many players do you currently have signed that you're ready to take to training camp? How many more do you expect to sign?
I think overall we have 65 for training camp, but we have about 58 guys right now. But one of them is familiar. I think familiar with San Antonio and certainly Texas A&M is Kellen Mond, our quarterback. So we're excited about having him.
Well, and to be able to get a Kellen Mond, and, you know, and I think this is what this league is perfect for, you know, great quarterback at Reagan, then went to IMG Academy, A&M, was in Minnesota for a while, bounced around a little bit in the NFL, but the guy needs reps. I look at a guy like Trey Lance. He needs reps. The idea to get a quarterback the caliber of Kellen Mond to come play for the Brahmas, how much convincing did you have to do with him that this league is good for him? You know, yes, it's not the NFL, but this could help you get back to the NFL and be more productive there?
Yeah, I think he was excited about it, you know, and I think he should be. It gives those guys a chance to play. I mean, you know, they get to see them play. They get to get that experience that they need, you know. So I think it works both ways. It helps us, obviously, but it'll help him too.
Well, and you know, obviously they're looking, you got some running backs, it looks like, that are signed to come back. Is that the challenge for you right now, making sure who is actually coming back and who doesn't sign with an NFL team?
Right. We had obviously had a lot of good players, and some of them want to keep playing. Some of them want to keep the opportunity, and not all of them, you know, everybody thinks they all want to go to the NFL, which they probably do, but some of them just want to keep playing football. They enjoy football. They've played well throughout their lives, and they don't want to quit yet. So we're glad to have those kind of guys back too.
Well, and you know, getting your kicker back, destroying probably the most famous guy, at least with the social media following in the UFL, the brutal injury last year, the fact that he's coming back is exciting for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. He's got you know, the little bit we had him, he was tremendous. He has tremendous legs, great attitude, and but we're going to try to keep him from trying to make tackles.
Well, see, I
Because
figure
he's not
you've got
very
it. But come on, Coach Wade Phillips. I mean, defensive-minded guy. You got to teach him how to tackle without, you know, breaking every bone in his body.
Yeah, well, he's not very big. So we'll let the other guys do the tackling.
All right, so tell me about the guys that are doing the tackling. You're excited to get some back, but who new did you add that you're most pumped about seeing them in that Brahma uniform?
Well, Kellen Mond, number one, I think. You know, just to have him and his abilities, and you know, and everybody's familiar with him, and I am too, seeing him, you know, win at A&M when he was there and being a great quarterback there. So I'm looking forward to seeing him just continue his career.
That was former Cowboys head coach, now San Antonio Brahmas head coach, Wade Phillips, joining Jason Minix on the Blitz earlier today. If you want to catch that full interview, head to sasportstar.com. Go to the AA Best Bail Bonds audio vault. It is all in there, as are all our interviews and shows archived for you. Great stuff from Coach Phillips. And wanted to get to a couple of the comments here in the comment section. D. Douglas says, am I the only one that notices Kellen Moore's Eagles compared to Kellen Moore's Cowboys tenure? No, because Kellen Moore did a great job for the Cowboys, just like he's doing for the Eagles. He had a hiccup when he was with the Chargers, but what's not remembered correctly is how much Kellen Moore ran the ball when he was the OC of the Dallas Cowboys. They were in the top 10 in rushing attempts those 2 years. And then McCarthy does we need to run the dang ball at in preparation of the combine as he was taking over the play calling from Kellen Moore in his exodus. It's one of the reasons I think Kellen Moore, if you move on from McCarthy, would be the choice, because he's been in the building. He was groomed both under Garrett and under Mike McCarthy, who Jerry Jones has respect for both of those guys. He knows Jerry Jones. He knows what he's getting into with the interviews and everything that goes along with being the Cowboys head coach. I believe if they moved on, Kellen Moore would be a potential target as the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. My personal opinion, just from knowing how the inner workings are with the Cowboys and what's going to happen in terms of Jerry liking a guy that can kind of fall in line and conform with the way that the Cowboys are run. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. When we come back earlier today on the Morning Huddle, big day for the Spurs as the calendar is turned to 2025. What is the future outlook for the rest of the year for the San Antonio Spurs as they get set for a back-to-back with the Denver Nuggets? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing victims of negligent drivers. When it comes to insurance companies, I hate to state the obvious, but as consumers of insurance products, we as Texans have never had fewer rights than we do right now. Over the past 20 years, our rights as Texas insurance consumers have diminished every year. The insurance lobbyist over that 20 years has been very, very successful. The result? If you're on your own, you have no chance of a fair recovery without an experienced attorney. I was licensed to practice in 1994. Over the past 32 years, I have seen the insurance company's playbook develop. Delay, deny, depose. It's not just crime scene evidence. It's a very real approach most every insurance company takes in responding to the claims of traffic accident victims. Hire someone who knows the game. Hire somebody who wins. Hire me, Jason Thompson. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or my website, alawyerforus.com.
911, what's your emergency?
In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
The South Texas RV Super Sale is back at Expo Hall to Freeman, and boy, do we have a great show this year. Our dealers are loaded with RVs, and they're making deals. A full array of Class A, B, and C motorhomes, gigantic fifth wheels, toy haulers, and travel trailers. So go on over to SouthTexasRVSupersale.com and buy tickets in advance. No need to wait in line. We'll see you today through Sunday at Expo Hall to Freeman. The South Texas RV Super Sale is back. Doors open daily at 10. SouthTexasRVSupersale.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only. Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. DayQuil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
DayQuil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, DayQuil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new DayQuil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster. Smoky Mo's is the best neighborhood barbecue in San Antonio. Tailgating or game watching? Create your own party pack with your choice of meats, including brisket, turkey, sausage, and home-style sides, including our new bacon cheddar potatoes. Smoky Mo's barbecue gets its delicious flavor and aroma from quality meats prepped with our unique spice blend. Smoked low and slow over post oak, in-house every day. Smoky Mo's is great Texas barbecue, served fast and friendly, with 8 locations. Find the one near you at SmokyMo'sBarbecue.com. Smoky Mo's, the pit is lit.
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, SASportsStar.com. I am James Pledger. Thank you for joining me tonight as we take you all the way up to 7 o'clock. Interesting conversation happening in the bullpen. Claymore wants to know, is Kellen 1 or 2 more years away from being an actual head coach? Maybe, but you never truly know until you put a person in that position, whether they're ready or not. And Kellen Moore has had multiple situations. He's been with the Chargers with a lame duck head coach. Didn't work out well there. He's been in Philly with what felt like a coach on the hot seat, and things have gone very well for him. And he had one of the most potent offenses when he was taking over here at the Dallas Cowboys, their head coaching position. So it's going to be very interesting. The San Antonio Spurs, also very interesting. They're being linked in trade rumors, and they are over 500. They're in the thick of the playoff chase right now as they get set for a back-to-back with the Denver Nuggets here over the next couple of days. One here, one there. The first one there tonight. 2025 could be very interesting, especially with the trade deadline approaching, to see what the Spurs' outlook will be. Well, the Morning Huddle touched on it this morning as Rob Thompson was discussing what the rest of the San Antonio Spurs season may look like.
The Spurs are winning 17-16. They kind of finished the year. They finished with a bang, beating the Clippers, and it was as thorough a destruction as the Spurs have given a team in a couple of years. Now, they've won some games big, but all 15 of their dudes scored. That's the most that you can do. You can't have more guys score on your team than they did. You can only have 15 guys on the bench. Everybody scored, and they did it effectively. It wasn't, well, it was a lot of trash baskets. But the momentum they start the season with, let's see if they can carry it in. Now, they're going to go in tonight without Jeremy Sohan. He's got some back issues. I think it comes down to his haircut. He's like Samson, got those green locks kind of shaved back, and suddenly his back goes out. And as we look at what has happened to the Spurs over the last, I think we're midway through the second quarter of the Spurs 4-quarter season. So we're getting a good idea who we are. Spurs have a good idea who they are, what they're good at, what they're not good at. And when you reach this kind of time of the season, what has traditionally happened with the Spurs is we got about a couple of 3 weeks before the rodeo road trip. And the best thing about the rodeo road trip is the camaraderie of being on the road for a month, but also because you're not traveling home and then away and then home and then away. That time off that you have during that month of the rodeo is you can practice. We're talking about legitimate, get a sweat on practice. And the Spurs over the first part of the season had a lot of home games. They had a couple of weeks where they had 2, 3, 4 days off. They've had a chance to really practice, and we could see the benefit. If you go back and look at the days off and then what happened after that day off, 60%, 70% of the time, the Spurs are winning, or at least very much in it, effective, because that's what this young team needs is, practice. So as we come through the end of January, what has traditionally happened, and I don't know how traditional we can be. It's a new coach. It's, same system, same dudes, but it's not that dude making the decision, at least there. I expect we're going to see kind of what we've seen, at least with the 5 over the last couple of weeks, to continue. That there'll be nights when we see some guys ain't going to play at all. We've seen Zach have some DNP CDs. We've seen Bassie get DNP CDs. We've seen more of that from Mamu than any other else. But we have seen some guys sitting on the bench deliberately, like they probably should have been playing but weren't because of things that had to get done. I think we'll see more of that until the rodeo road trip. But once they get home after the trip, the team as it's situated will be the team. Jimmy Butler yesterday, post-game, his name's been kind of mentioned more often than not with trades. He confirmed it. He said he had lost the joy to play. And he was asked afterwards, do you think you'll be able to get it back? His response was, not here. Not in Miami. He's already evidently given a list of teams that he will try to find the joy with. I don't think it should be the Spurs. I don't want it to be the Spurs. But those are the kind of decisions and the kind of players that over the next couple of years are going to be, the Spurs are going to be on those short lists. We haven't been, and probably aren't on Jimmy's right now, because I think he wants to go get a ring now. And as good as we can be with Butler, and I do think he would be a great addition. And we have a history of bringing in guys on their very last deal to kind of help us out. Now, those were teams that already had the ring, and we're trying to get another one. But he'd be the kind of guy that when the Spurs are finally situated, when they finally are comfortable that they have a dude at every position for a couple of years, that you go get. Somebody will go get Butler just because they're situated and they're close. And they could eat that, what is it? It'll cost $35-40 million to have a Jimmy Butler. I think he's on the books for like 52. Some kind of crazy number next year, which ain't going to happen.
So what say you? Would you want a Jimmy Butler? Despite De'Aaron Fox's antics last week with what happened with Mike Brown and how that all ended, do you want to bring in a De'Aaron Fox? Andrew Nembhard's name's been mentioned. Or do you wait for the offseason? There's potential that once the trade deadline passes and you get to the offseason, Lauri Markkanen could be back on the table. What would you do, Spurs fans? I'm asking you, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Do you keep this current young core together and see what you got with them the rest of the year? Let me know. Or comment along in the Brigade Bar or the bullpen. Brigade Bars in the morning. You're in the bullpen here on Extra Innings with Pledger. Let me know what you think. Any moves the Spurs you want them to make before the deadline. We'll discuss that and more coming up next. By the way, Jimmy Butler suspended for 7 games, conduct detrimental to the team as they attempt to move him. We'll discuss in depth next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, A.J. Hoffman returns. We'll debrief the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL season and look forward to the playoffs, both college and pro. You got to get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Scott, you've got a question about radio stations?
Yes, I do. Back in the 80s, when JD and I guess Bobo were doing radios, why did stations sound so different, like in a car or something? Were they compressed or something like that?
Bob? Cocaine.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale now at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
Save on your New Year's car care resolutions with antifreeze, wiper blades, brakes, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
At the Institute for Functional Health, we're dedicated to helping you live life fully, playing with your kids, golfing, and feeling great without relying on pills. We're not about treating symptoms temporarily. We're about extending your health span, the years you live in good health. I'm Dr. Torres, and for over a decade, my team has transformed lives by tackling health issues at the root. Tired of medications without real answers? Take control of your health with us. Call 210-468-1891 for a free Discovery Day consultation or visit IFFhealth.com. Improve your health span today.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks, the unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. Offer ends soon. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Connecticut SA.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Check out the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, SASportsStar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for rolling with me this evening. I see as we went to break, I was asking what you want the Spurs to do in 2025 as the trade deadline is about a month away, a month and 3 days, February 6th, if you were wondering. Now Jimmy Butler's available. There have been reports that they're interested in a De'Aaron Fox. Would you wait and see what this team has and roll it through to the offseason? By the way, quick update. Texas State beat North Texas 30-28 in the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. And once again, Texas State fans crushed all the beer in the stadium. So way to go, Texas State. You're doing us good up there supporting the team, not only on the field, but in the stands. I asked for your phone calls, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Howard, welcome into Extra Innings with Pledge. What do you want to see the Spurs do?
Pledge, thanks for taking the call. There's a few things to cover here. About 4 or 5 of the Spurs wins have been because teams were on back-to-backs. And the schedule has been very favorable for home games. They are not as good as their record. I'm a big Spurs fan. They need a sharp shooter. Zach LaVine is 45% from the field. That's the guy that I would go for. He's not going to cause problems. He's got this year plus 2 more years on his deal. It's a lot of money, but it's still that. I think it's the difference that can make them get to the playoffs. Because if you watch the Spurs, so much of everything they do is they can't hit the threes. Mm-hmm. And if you got this guy, 45%, this is big time. And, even last night they lost horribly. He had a plus. He was the only guy on the team with a plus-minus for Chicago. I've been watching his lines. I would not do De'Aaron Fox. I wouldn't do Jimmy Butler. I think the right guy for this team is Zach LaVine. At this point, I still kind of wonder about the 4 spot. I was talking to you during the break. Why does Charles Bassey never play with Victor on the court? I don't understand how you can be an NBA coach and not even try that for a couple of quarters. Why? How is it that you can go through an entire season thinking, because I'd like to hear what you have to think about those 2 things. I'll just get off the phone. But Zach LaVine and then Charles Bassey playing with Vic, and then I do believe the record is not as good as what they actually play like. So I'll let you go here.
I appreciate it, Howard. As far as Zach LaVine, wouldn't be against it. I was a proponent of attempting to trade for him when the Bulls made him available the first time. I think a change of scenery would be good for him. I'd also welcome an Andrew Nembhard, who they've recently checked in on again. They checked in on him this offseason. And according to Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, they have reportedly been checking in with the Pacers again on Andrew Nembhard. It becomes, do the Pacers want to move him or not, more so than anything. The person I've been trumpeting, because you talk about the 4 and Bassey, go get Lauri Markkanen this offseason. He's now signed to a long-term deal. You have him locked up to pair with Victor for a long period of time, solves the 4. He also solves the floor spacing because he can space the floor as well as take it off the dribble. Having 2 guys that big, that athletic in the front court at the same time would be a nightmare in my opinion. I appreciate everybody for rolling through tonight. Happy New Year to everybody. We'll see you next week right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Doses. Nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green?